Hi everyone. Today I'm going to be comparing two, very simple email marketing platforms for creators, ConvertKit and Flodesk. And I'm just going to kind of compare them on a bunch of parameters, and just see which one wins over the other, and then eventually help you decide which is better for you and which is not, right? Um, and so I'm just and just for reference, right? ConvertKit and Flowdesk both are, both are email marketing platforms that help you grow your audience, engage with your audience, and monetize your audience. Okay, so they have all sorts of features like, email marketing, automation tools, list builders, digital products delivery, all of that, right? So, of course, extent of features can be different, but like largely they're kind of the same, and they serve the same people. They serve the creators, the content driven businesses, the courses, the course creators, the podcasters, YouTubers, bloggers, all of those ones would kind of benefit out of it, right? Now, I think it's worth noting that I think both of these kind of differentiate themselves as, the simplest email marketing platforms to use across all of the other competitors. And I definitely agree with both their claims. Both of them are very easy to use. But they do have their own differences. So I'm just going to kind of dive in a little deep into it, right? So let's first look at Flowdesk, right? So again, like I said, Flowdesk, you know, is an email marketing platform for creators. But I think one thing that they've really focused on quite well is good design and simplicity. Like that's exactly what they're trying to get to. They just want to create a workflow which is insanely simple to understand, and it's insanely hard to get wrong, and it's beautiful to look at, and it does the job well, right? Like, and it, to do the core functions well, right? So, once you kind of create an account in Flowdesk, you basically kind of reach this area, right? And as you can see, it's just a very simple black and white interface with just the most minimum buttons. You can't really go wrong anyway. You can't like click at the wrong places because there's hardly anything, right? Let me just kind of take you through it one by one, right? So let's say, for example, if you have to create an new email, all you gotta do is just click on new email. Okay. um, and then you just decide what the goal is. Let's say I want to make money, and I decide a template, and my God, like the editor is just so damn easy, right? So let me just take this one for example, and the designs are very good. Is not there's nothing to take away on that. Like super nice, very refreshing designs. Um, so Flowdesk is definitely for people, who care a lot about their visual identity, right? And how they come across to their bloggers, right? So once you have created a template, it takes you, through this four-step workflow, which again is just so damn simple. You can't get it wrong, right? So you've got this editor in here right now. If you want to make some changes, all you gotta do is, decide what font, you know, if there's a particular layout you want to add, you can do that. But honestly, basically just decide what it is, right? And then you can choose to have something like, a signature or whatever, right? And then do that, and then you go into, the audience, and then just send it out. It's very, very simple. Okay. And then you can even, you know, send a test email just to kind of figure it out overall. Um, now, like, I mean, like, again, like I said, there's hardly any buttons to kind of, go wrong at, right? All you gotta do is either click next or send a test or like, undo, redo your designs. That's it. There's no other clicks here and there, right? Once your email is actually sent, the reporting itself is just so damn easy, right? So this is an email. This was an email I'd sent. And if I want to look at the stats, you know, um, I can just click here, and it basically shows me the things that are important to me, like how many were sent, what is the open rate, what is the clicks, right? If you want to go deeper into it, it does provide you some decent level of reporting, all right? Um, and then, yeah, I mean, like, you can see that you can see how many emails were delivered, what is the open rate, what is the click rate, what is the opens by devices, clicks by devices, and it shows you deliverability. All right, that's a separate topic we'll get to. They say it's 100%. It's not really that. For example, when I sent this email, it actually landed in my spam, and so, and this is not just, in this one-off case. I sent a test email, went to spam. I sent a broadcast email, I went to spam. So on the deliverability side, I think there needs to be some improvement. But like in terms of simplicity and like knowing what you need to do in terms of reporting, it's quite simple, all right? Um, and then, again, like, if you look at other things, right? If you want to create a form, it's so damn simple. You just gotta click here, new form, and now you've got basically three forms that you can create. Um, just give me 1 minute. Okay, yeah. So you can basically decide between a pop-up, inline, full page, and then just decide a design. And then again, you click on customize, and it'll basically show you that. All right. I have seen that it loads a little bit slowly, right? That's another, different topic. But yeah, just kind of keep it at, like, it's super simple. Again, to create a form, you just select one of the options. You've seen the editor, how it works, and then you basically do that, right? Let's see the workflows. Like, how simple is that, right? All you gotta do is click on new workflow. Again, can't go anything wrong. There's only one button that's there. And then let's take, for example, decide what we want, right? Let's say we want to create a welcome sequence to our email list. So they usually, they already have like a sequence. You can use that, or you can start from scratch. Let's say if you want to start from scratch, and let's say if you want to take a more difficult route, right? I'm going to create welcome sequence. Okay. And then it's going to create like, yeah. Now, it's fairly simple again. All you see on this page is just the publish button and the ad triggers, nothing else. You can't really just go wrong if you click here and there. Again, I'm sorry I keep repeating that, but that is the truth. Um, so let's say, for example, a subscriber is added to a segment, and the segment I have is content upgrades, right? Now I can create, and send an email. So, I can set up sequences, email sequences. I can take an action, right? So an action could be, add a subscriber to a segment, remove a subscriber for a segment, like really basic actions. You can't really do a lot, but like the things that you really need to kind of grow an audience. And so that's it, and let's say, for example, I want to remove this from the segment content upgrades, right? Like, it's kind of a stupid workflow, but just to kind of show you that when I click on publish, that's it. You can't go wrong. Just the publish button, and your workflow is live, right? Even in terms of like audience management, right? Like your contacts, right? It's fairly simple. You can see all of your, subscribers, and then, if you click on each of them, you can see like a, whole history about them, right? Like, how many emails have they received, what's their usual engagement, device, all of that, right? Not very detailed, but like gives, it's almost like no nonsense metrics, right? It gives you the most essential metrics that matter, and it kind of gives you that. You can add a subscriber by adding an individual or uploading a CSV, fairly standard. And then let's talk about the last thing, which is checkouts. Um, Now, in terms of checkouts, is basically the digital product delivery platform, right? You can basically sell products on Flodesk, and they don't take any commission, that which is pretty amazing, right? The only money that'll be charged is by Stripe, which is their payment processor, and they'll take a 3% transaction fee, which is standard across the world. Um, Now, let's say, for example, I'm selling a digital product. You can also sell, freebies and, services, consulting packages, whatever that makes sense. Um, but let's say, for example, I want to sell, a social media guide, right? So I'm just gonna go in here. This is one thing I've seen, uh, quite a bit around Flowdesk that you have to kind of wait sometimes. It's never this long, but like it's definitely longer than usual. Right. All right. So now we're on the sales page. Okay. And I can understand why pages load slowly because there's it's a lot of design heavy platform, right? So let's say you create your page, you can add blocks. It's like a fairly standard editor, and then you click on you basically decide the checkout experience, right? So what do you want? Um, the first name, last name, email address. You can remove the last name if you want. You can decide the price. You can decide any upsells. You can add testimonials. Like it's pretty good, and it looks pretty good as well. There's no doubt about that. And then lastly, you can go into the delivery, and now you have um, what does the delivery, once someone's purchased, what does the experience look like? How do they, what kind of an email they get? What's the next page they see? Are there any bonuses and everything? So it's pretty good overall, right? And that's it. Like that's basically what Flowdesk is all about, right? Now just some assessments on this, right? Like I think in terms of pros and everything, a couple of things. Like the first thing for sure is like just how easy it is to use, right? So if you're, let's say, a non-tech person, or if you don't want to figure out a lot of tech and you just want to kind of move forward with stuff, like Flowdesk is actually pretty amazing. It's a very no nonsense interface. It has only, like, I think they've followed like the 80/20 principle, right? Like they've just added the 20% features that bring in 80% of the value and just focused on that again and again, and made the entire user experience quite good. The second thing, the pricing. So Flowdesk is actually super affordable, right? If you see most email marketing softwares, their pricing basically scales based on your number of contacts. Flowdesk has a flat fee, independent of how many contacts you have, right? So I think they charge something like $38 per month, and you basically get unlimited contacts, unlimited forms, unlimited everything. This pricing will never increase, won't decrease. It's kind of standard $38 a month, right? So it's great, like in the long term, when you have, I don't know, 10,000 email subscribers, for 10,000 email subscribers, you end up paying, something like $190 to ConvertKit. And and if if you consider using Flowdesk, you'd just be paying $38. And this pricing difference kind of increases a lot more as the number of subscribers grows, right? So I think that's the second thing that's pretty great. And then I mean, I think overall, like, even the designs, my god, like, I think they're probably more visually beautiful than ConvertKit, right? So if I compare the pros versus ConvertKit, I think Flowdesk has definitely an easier to use interface, right? No nonsense. It definitely is much more affordable than ConvertKit, and it definitely has a great email builder and a very stylish interface, right? Now I'll tell you about the cons with Flowdesk, right? I think the number one issue for me with this is the deliverability, right? Because ultimately, if my emails don't reach the primary inbox of the subscriber, they will not be read and it will not give me that value, right? And unfortunately, in all of my tests with Flowdesk, it actually failed on those deliverability tests, right? So I don't know why they're saying, like, I guess their definition of deliverability is that it got delivered to this particular recipient, be it spam or in the primary inbox. But all my emails went into spam. Like everything from the test email to the broadcast email to, like, whatever, like, they all went into spam, right? And that's like a big red flag for me because I've never seen that personally with ConvertKit. Every time I send emails from ConvertKit, they reach the inbox, right? And ultimately that matters, right? Then I think the other thing that um, I feel is just that I think like the product is great, right? But I think it's still very nascent, or I don't think it's a very mature product, because there are times where sometimes, things load slowly, sometimes, pages, load slowly, or, like the overall experience is great, but then, sometimes you just feel like, well, I wish this could be optimized better, right? Like it's not frictionless smooth. It's not like, yeah, like, it doesn't seem like a mature product. I don't know how to explain that, but it doesn't, right? And I think that uh, is a bit of a concern if you are a creator that has a lot of subscribers already, has a lot of contacts, right? And in that case, I wouldn't recommend Flodesk, because I think Flodesk is probably better, if you're kind of a creator that's starting out, if you're somebody who's non-tech savvy, who, wants a, very simple user interface, and just wants the basics, right? And then I think the last like major con about Flodesk is that it definitely, while it has all of the important features, there's a lot of things that are missing from it, right? For example, I think it's difficult to send a newsletter from Flowdesk. You cannot set up a landing page, for lead generation within Flowdesk. There's a lot of different features, right? There's no RSS support in it. The automations are fairly basic, right? Like if you want to create more complex automations, like, if and then, and if somebody clicks on a certain link, you move them into, a certain segment, and they get like a separate email. Like I think those are not possible right now, right? And so I think that that's a bit of a concern for me. And so I think, like, features wise, again, like, it's not a mature product in terms of features as well. Like it's pretty preliminary. Maybe that's what they're trying to push for. Maybe that's what they're kind of going for beginners. But if you're an experienced creator, I think that's a concern. And then I think, like, overall, like, even, I've read some details about, like, support isn't that great. Like, Flowdesk support apparently takes quite a while to respond, right? And that's not good, right? And like, they're if you look at the reviews, right, of Flowdesk, online and everything, um it doesn't have good reviews. I think on G2 it has like 3.5 out of 5. um and there's a lot of people that complain about their store checkout process, is pretty bad. Sometimes the money wasn't sent to them on time, which I completely think, is not good at all, right? And then there are a lot of these things, right? So in a nutshell, this is what I feel about Flowdesk. Now let me just kind of give you quick preview of ConvertKit, and just tell you a little bit of pros and cons, right? So as you can see, once you sign up for ConvertKit, like, the user interface is a little bit more, it's not as simple as Flowdesk. um so, and it's a little bit more, I'd say, like, your traditional software, or like the traditional modern software. I still think it's a lot more simpler, right? One of the things that they've done is they've basically segmented their product into four categories, right? The first is to, all of the features to grow your audience, right? Then the second is all of the features to engage with your audience and send emails and everything, right? So, like, within growing your audience, you have subscriber management, you have landing pages, and forms to, capture leads. And you can also have a creator profile, which is something in beta right now. When you talk about engagement features, it includes, one-time broadcast. It can include, like, sequences, right? Like, so for example, someone subscribes to your email list, you can, put them into, I don't know, 7 email sequence over 7 weeks, basically turning them from cold to hot, right? You can have, and this is an interesting one. They also have this thing called snippets, where basically you can add like a common block that you can use in a lot of your emails, right? Let's say, for example, you have a block about, your product and a CTA, right? So you can basically just create a snippet and then just use a code, in every single of your emails that you send out in ConvertKit, and basically just like add it in there. So this can be something like a product promotion, or an author name, or like a list of products you're selling. I don't know. You can be experimental with that. But anyway, this is the engagement module. Then there's the automate module, which allows you to do email marketing at scale and reduce a lot of your manual efforts, right? So they've got visual automations, they've got very complex rules, and the thing that I love the most, they've got RSS support, which allows you to generate automatic emails and newsletters for your subscribers without putting in any effort. I'll just show you that in a sec. And the last segment is, you know, to monetize your audience, right? So digital products, tip jars, and tip jars are kind of like that buy me a coffee button, where people can donate for all of your content creation efforts. And then just payouts management, right? So these are four. And then of course they provide a lot of resources to help you be successful with ConvertKit, and also kind of your business, with content creation and monetization, and growing your audience, and a lot of that, right? um, Let me just quickly show you what the interface looks like, right? So if you go in here, it's pretty simple. I don't think it requires a lot of difficulty. I mean, I don't think it has a lot of complex interface. It's just, I still like it. In fact, I like this more than Flowdesk, just because it just seems like a more uh, mature workflow, right? So anyway, you can add subscribers, as a CSV or manually, whatever that is. As you can see, single subscriber, CSV, or from another provider as well. You can transfer from Mailchimp to ConvertKit, or all of those things. In fact, ConvertKit actually provides a migration service, for free. So if, let's say, for example, you're using another email marketing software, and if you decide to use ConvertKit, and I think if you have something like minimum 5,000 subscribers, their team's going to kind of take up all of the work to transfer you onto their platform. Like literally everything from your sequences, your automations, your subscribers, all of that data will be imported in perfectly, and so you don't have to do a lot of work, right? You're just switching platforms, and then they'll train you how to use it. um, so you can do that. You can create forms. Let me just kind of show you how to kind of create forms. Super quick uh, demo about this, right? So you can click on create new forms, right? And then they have a lot of different kind of forms, and landing pages, right? I like the landing pages. They're simple. They're not very stylish like Flowdesk, but I think that they're functional, and that they don't look ugly. They're professional for sure. um I'm just going to kind of show you the forms. Even the forms are pretty nice and easy to set up. But again, like, I think the difference between Flowdesk and ConvertKit is that Flowdesk had like one, two buttons on the screen. That's it. You couldn't do anything better. Like now here you have like lots of different things. You have to like really know where to kind of click. And ConvertKit also offers more features than Flowdesk, right? So Flowdesk offered inline, sticky bar and modal, but ConvertKit also provides slide in. It also provides a standalone lead form page, which you can just link to, kind of like a landing page. So let's say, for example, you want to create a pop-up model. You just kind of click on it, and then you've got all of these designs. Again, now I think that's the difference, right? Like, as you can see, they're not as stylish as Flowdesk, but they look good. Like, I mean, they're functional, they're professional, they don't look ugly, they don't look like something that's been built off like from a bad designer. I think these are functional. What you need, right? But if you really care about like good design, I don't think ConvertKit is right for you. ConvertKit is just about being straightforward and simple. So you can choose. Let's say, for example, I choose the Charlotte theme, right? um, so it's going to basically open the editor, and again, like, the editor is pretty simple, right? All you have to do is just decide what the text is, all of that. But it starts providing you more details, like, for example, like more features, like adding a custom CSS, right? If you want to, I don't know, add something, interesting, right? And then it provides you the ability to preview it before actually making it live. There's a lot of things in here that you can try. You can there are display options on like when this should show up. If let's say if a visitor is trying to leave the page, you want to show it on exit intent, you can do that, right? So all of these features make it just a little bit more, or probably a lot more than Flodesk. Just thought I'd kind of give you a preview of that, right? So this is basically how you create forms and landing pages. Now let's go into the second segment, just to send an email, right? Like how does that work? Um, so you go into broadcast, right? And broadcast is one-off email. You can also create sequences. I'll show you that real quick. But you just again just click on new broadcast. Not very complicated. It's actually pretty simple as well. The problem when you're comparing with Flowdesk is one of the simplest apps I've used, right? So you're comparing it to something completely different, right? Like I think, but anyway. So in the broadcast, you have like a subject line. You can A/B test. Again, a very good feature within ConvertKit, right? You can add, um, you can add certain templates, right? You can create your own templates. You can also add things like, let me just kind of add the content in here, right? Hi, welcome to my newsletter, right? And then let's see if I want to add any templates, right? Now within the templates, you have a library, and now this is where like the designs start becoming a little bit better. This is more like a Substack kind of design. This is more designer friendly. I think it starts going. So you can try your hand at whatever you can uh, see, and then just put that in here, and then that's it, and then just you know continue, and then decide which segment is supposed to get that email, and then just hit send. That's it. Like that's fairly simple. And now the interesting thing is that when I kind of send a test email, or when I actually send the email, it actually reaches my inbox. So on the deliverability side, ConvertKit is like it works, Flowdesk doesn't. Um, yeah. So I mean, like that's it, right? Like you can preview text, you can have an internal note for your team members, right? All sorts of things, right? Um, you can also create more advanced sequences, right? Like the welcome email sequence when someone kind of signs up, right? Uh, Fairly easy to create. You just click on new workflow and then a new automation, um, and then you can just keep adding emails, right? So it's not like a very complex automation idea. You just keep adding emails in here. And it's like one day, after 5 days, after 7 days, and then you can see your entire sequence in here. So it's actually a pretty good take at how to do email sequences. But if you want to do more complex automation, that's when their visual automations come in. Okay. Now this is much more than the sequences that I just talked about. You can create some incredible automations uh, to just reduce a lot of your manual work. Um, and let me just kind of preview one, right? So for example, someone signed up, for my newsletter, and let's say, have simple question is, have they received an entry email from me or not? If they have, then, send them a follow up or whatever. If they haven't, send them an intro email, and then kind of, add a tag onboarded, and then end the automation, right? And this is a very simple automation, right? Like if you see the automation library, if you don't want to create it yourself from scratch, you can actually do a lot more um, interesting things in here. And they have like, because this platform has been built for creators, and I don't just mean bloggers, podcasters, YouTubers, it's also built for like, music artists, right? Like, so, if you want to kind of release a new album, they have a template for that. If you want to run a paid newsletter, they have a template for that. If you want to grow your audience with Sparkloop, and Sparkloop is basically a newsletter referral program, right? So if you run a newsletter, if you want to grow, You can basically be like, hey, if you recommend me three more subscribers to my newsletter, I will give you one of my ebooks for free, right? And that way, through the referral, system, it just kind of you can really grow your newsletter, right? There's for books, there's for fan club subscriptions. There's a lot of interesting ones, and these are just plug and play. You can try that out, right? That's the visual automations. Again, you can set up some more complex rules within automation, right? So I won't go super deep into it, right? But you can you can basically, like, it's almost like a Zapier kind of setup where it's like, if someone, I don't know, purchases a product, right? uh, Subscribe them to the purchase onboarding sequence or the upsell sequence, right? All of those things you can try, right? So that way, if let's say someone purchases a digital product, an ebook, you can promote your seven other ebooks to them over course of 7 months and get more revenue out of them, right? Just an example. So this is the rules. Now I'm just going to talk about real quick about one of my favorite features, which is the RSS, right? Now, one of the major issues when you're kind of growing your audience is you need, like, it doesn't matter how many emails you have or how many subscribers you have. What matters is how many people remember you, right? So you need to kind of engage with them, weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly, whatever sequence makes sense, right? Now, creating a newsletter digest again and again, right, can be really time consuming, and that's a separate job in itself, right? What ConvertKit allows you to do is to use RSS feeds to create automatic newsletters, right? So um, you can basically add a feed, right? So for example, I added, one of my feeds about, actually, no, let me just kind of show you an existing feed so you don't have to create it from scratch. Um, But basically, I added my blogs feed in there, and I can add other things also. I can add, a Reddit feed, and I can add, a feed, an RSS feed of, one of my favorite blogs. Maybe the Ahrefs blog, or maybe the SaaStr blog, or maybe there's like a podcast feed. I don't know, right? And so I have this, ESM Weekly Brew where I have, this is my blog and this is my RSS feed, and I've just added in there. And so what it ends up looking like is um right so what it ends up looking like is this, right? So these are all the blog posts I published in the last week. It automatically took the title, this, and created this. And you can set this on autopilot, right? Email on a schedule with multiple posts into a digest. So every Monday I'm going to get a digest, or I can send my subscribers a digest automatically, right? With my RSS feed content, right? And I absolutely love this feature because this basically allows me to engage with my audience on autopilot, and then I can focus more of my efforts on revenue generation and basically growing the list, which are more time consuming efforts, right? Now, the last bit about ConvertKit is the digital products delivery, right? So within here, right, you can first of all set up any digital products, right? So it's kind of like a Gumroad kind of experience. You can have, I don't know, a book, a course, a Notion template, you can have a subscription service. I don't know, something like, you know, monthly SEO maintenance, for $1,000 a month. I don't know. Um, Whatever that is, right? You can have a product or a subscription. That's how they've basically defined it. You define the price, you define how you fulfill it, right? Maybe it's an immediate delivery. Maybe there's an email that goes out from you to schedule a time on Calendly to kickstart the SEO consulting or whatever that is, and then you basically set that up. That's the products, right? And so anytime a sale happens, ConvertKit is going to take 3.5% flat fee, no matter how much the volume, plus transaction fee of Stripe, which is another 3%. So roughly about 6.5% goes away. The 3% will be applicable pretty much everywhere, so you can't do much about it. But 3.5% is much lesser than Gumroad's 10%, so it kind of makes sense. So this is the digital products. The second is the tip jars, which is if you've ever been to a blog or someone's video and you've seen like buy me a coffee and here's a link, right? They've basically created their own, right? And so you can create a tip jar. I've just created an example in here, um, and you can basically design it in a certain way. You can decide the amounts, 5, 10, 20. You can also have minimum amount, all sorts of things, and you can have a checkout confirmation receipt email, right? So this allows you to get some donations, if you're a content creator that relies on tip jars. And then you can obviously manage your payouts as well, right? Now if you look at ConvertKit's pricing, it's definitely more expensive than Flodesk. I'll tell you that. So what you were seeing, all of the features, I was actually on a Creator Pro plan, right? And so the Creator Pro plan for 8,000 subscribers is going to cost you 116, or actually $139 a month, right? It's going to give you all of the features. It's going to give you unlimited team members. It's also going to give you a newsletter referral system. It's going to give you lead scoring. It's going to give you priority chat support, everything, right? Um, but obviously more expensive than Flowdesk, right? So now the final question, right? Like, which is better, Flowdesk or ConvertKit, right? So let me just kind of give you a preview of the pros of ConvertKit, right? And there's a lot of them. First thing is, ConvertKit has a lot of features, right? And they have an easy user interface. And that's a very delicate balance to maintain, right? So the user interface is easy, to get used to, but you can do a lot of things, right? You can, like I said, you don't, it basically bundles a lot of products together, right? You don't need a buy me a coffee, you don't need a Gumroad, you don't need, an RSS digest service, right? Like all of that is in one subscription, right? Um, the second thing is it's a mature product, right? It's used by some of the biggest content creators in the world. Pat Flynn is one of them. You can see ConvertKit's list. Like, there's a lot of known names in there, and they've been in business for more than 10 years now. So you can comfortably rely on them. So they've and it's been founded by Nathan Barry, who's a creator himself, a successful creator, and there's a lot of subject matter expertise that's gone in there. So it's a mature product, and that's why I think even though it's more expensive, I think it's definitely a more reliable long-term alternative for creators that are serious about their business, right? Not for the ones that are starting out, for the ones that are serious about deliverability, for the ones that are serious about getting all the features they want, the ones that are serious about extracting the most revenue out of their audience, the ones that are serious about growing their audience in a very organized way, right? ConvertKit is definitely the best solution there, right? So it's a mature product, it has a lot of features. ConvertKit support is really good, right? So I've usually, whenever I send them an email, I would, I'd get a reply within 4 or 5 hours, and they're quite helpful. They'll try to help you out as quickly as possible. Their payments, again, it's a flat fee, 3.5%, and they pay on time, right? So you don't have those kind of issues there. Deliverability, ConvertKit emails are delivered to your primary inbox. They don't hit spam, and that's a huge win for sure, right? So final thoughts between the two, right? I think if you want to, again, repeating the same thing, if you want to save on costs and need only a way to manage your email lists at a flat, affordable price, go with, Flowdesk. It's ideal for creators who are starting out their journey. And I think it's more of a short-term solution because ultimately, when your subscriber list is huge, you will have to consider a mature solution like ConvertKit. But I think Flowdesk is ideal if you're in the early stages of your creator journey. Um, but if you're a creator who's serious, who already has an email list, serious about their creator journey, you should definitely go for ConvertKit. It's more expensive but more reliable. Mature product with excellent customer support. Great for the long term as a creator, as it can scale to millions of subscribers as well. You don't have to move platforms, because of a lack of features, because ConvertKit has pretty much everything, and it's just a great product overall, right? So my personal vote goes a little bit towards ConvertKit, right? Like Flodesk is definitely a great take to email marketing, but I think it's just way too simple and it's not yet mature and it's just not something that as a creator I like. So I mean that's why I ultimately chose ConvertKit, right? So if you enjoyed this, if you found value out of this Flowdesk versus ConvertKit comparison, please consider buying a subscription of ConvertKit through my link in the description. It will not cost anything additional to you, but it will help support me in creating more of these helpful videos for you, right? So I appreciate your help either way, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye.